Hello, my name is Scott Dobbins. I am a retired firefighter from the city of Marietta, Georgia. The purpose of this video is to tell you about the mistreatment the employees with the city of Marietta, the retirees from the city of Marietta, people that live in Cobb County, people that are just passing through Marietta are receiving because of corruption at the city level in Marietta, Georgia. Now, when you say corruption, how do you mean that? Well, in a nutshell, there's a city manager there named Bill Bruton. Bill came to work there about 24 years ago. And Bill has been very good for Bill. Bill has been very bad for all the people I just mentioned. The city has continued to line Bill's pocket at the expense of the employees, the retirees, again, Cobb County citizens, and people passing through. Now, if you're a citizen in Marietta, unfortunately, you haven't been paying attention, and your end goal is just low taxes. There was a time when Marietta had a lot of really good people in it. What I call the World War II group. That was a fantastic group of human beings. Sadly, they're passing away. And they're being replaced by a group that they expect things. And we see this in the news. You see these idiots at these college campuses. Well, Marietta is one of these towns that, unfortunately, they have taken a path that we're going to line one man's pocket, Bill Bruton, to screw a bunch of other people. This is going to be a series of videos on that mistreatment. I have driven 5 hours on several occasions to go speak at the city of Marietta. I no longer live in the state of Georgia. I live in Tennessee. And if you go and speak, their little attorney, Doug Haney, is going to shut down your speech at 5 minutes. And that's it. You're done. They don't care. If you go to council meetings and you pay attention, you see people there that are coming to the council and they're trying to build things in that town that will benefit the city as a whole. And they are having to kiss the butts of those elected officials who are a joke, in my opinion. It is pathetic to see these people kowtow to these politicians who don't deserve it. At one of the meetings I was at, to put it in perspective, there's a citizen that comes and speaks, and I guess he comes to all the council meetings. And actually, that's actually a good citizen. And he didn't have a clue that the fire department was coming to speak, and what it was, the reason I actually drove down there, is that the firefighters, it had been so long since they'd had anything that looked like a pay raise compared to Bill Bruton. And to put Bruton in perspective, he makes more money than any governor in the United States, and he's in a town that has 60,000 people. Not too bad. His base pay is around $264,000 a year. They contribute to his 457 retirement fund the maximum each year, which is somewhere between $20,000 and $22,000 a year. So, back to this citizen that was there, he heard our people speak, and the person that spoke was a retiree because the employees were afraid if anybody spoke up, they would get retribution, and they do have retribution under the city. Bruton is a joke from the perspective of standing up for the employees. An absolute joke. I can tell you personally that the city manager, along with the personnel director prior and prior fire chief, we're talking about Bill Bruton, Nancy Martin, and Jackie Gibbs. They would take time to conspire to defraud somebody out of a promotion they were due, because they did it to me. And I have my information. I have no problem sitting there saying they're corrupt, because I'm protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, just like this whole little video here. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. And here, Mr. Haney, you can't control my 5 minutes. But back to this person from the city, when he heard us speaking, it kind of frustrated him, because other cities were basically taking people away from the fire department. Well, the city doesn't care. They want the cheapest person they can put on a fire truck, or in a police car, or in sanitation, or board of lights and water, anywhere. Because at the end of the day, they can't stand paying for people. It's a mentality of slave owners. That's the type of mentality that council has. And we'll get into a whole different little series on how African Americans are treated there. This is going to be fun, I can tell you this. Well, anyhow, the citizen told us, he said when he speaks, the city sends out inspectors from code enforcement into his neighborhood and cites everybody in his neighborhood they can. He said they don't cite me, they cite them to make the neighbors mad at me. So that's a problem. Now, I've got an ongoing grudge against the city, and I hold a grudge. I don't like being screwed out of my money. The biggest reason I've started this is our private investments that we can put money in, like most of you in the private sector, is a 401k, and we had a 457. It's the government version. And recently I noticed I was not getting the return I should be getting on my 457 account. So I filed an open records request with the city and found that the city was taking a part of my investments for themselves. Now, the investment company is Nationwide Retirement Solutions. And if you're with the International Association of Firefighters, you need to be listening right now, because they're one of the companies that you recommend. I was a dues-paying member for the International Association of Firefighters for basically 28, probably and a half years. And I was union president for the International Association of Firefighters Local 1460 in Marietta, Georgia, which closed up when I retired, because we could not get anybody to take it over, and the executive board was all retired. So if you're with the IAFF, you need to be listening to this. If you're further up the food chain at Nationwide, you need to be asking yourselves why one of your employees thinks it's a good idea to double tax retirement benefits for the same task. I sent a cease and desist letter to Nationwide Retirement Solutions when I found out the city was taking a fee. They replied back that, well, it might be unconstitutional, we don't care. That was kind of the mindset that they had. They didn't care, as long as they're getting their cut. So now I'm paying Nationwide for a fee to manage funds, and I'm paying the city of Marietta a fee to manage funds. Now, the problem is I asked Nationwide to send me the paperwork of where they have this authority. And they told me, said, no, you need to get it from the city. I said, you're taking money out of my account, and you can't give me the document that gives you the authority? Because I don't know how much you're saying you're taking out. Because what happens is, on my statements that I get from them, they don't explain where the money's going. Not at all. I mean, as far as I know, the leadership in the city could be going to some beach and meeting with a bunch of hookers. I don't know where the money goes, and they class it as expert advice. So, Nationwide refused. So if you're in other city governments and you have nationwide, you better be checking too to see if they're allowing those governments to screw you out of your money. Because I have a huge issue on taking my money. Was very hard to be able to set money aside into the investment account because the city had no pay plan. Like I said, under this city manager who's had pay raises every year but one, and that was during the height of the Great Depression, he's had not a pay plan yet for these employees. So what money I was able to set aside is because I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. And that freed up money at the fire department to be able to invest. Well, there is an opportunity to get promoted, and if you get promoted, that is a pay raise. And according to city code, it is a right to be able to compete for advancement. But 3 people, city manager again, Bill Bruton, this very high-paid city manager, former personnel director named Nancy Martin, and the former fire chief named Jackie Gibbs, who retired after a vote of no confidence from the fire department, did conspire against me to defraud me of a promotion. Now you can go, how do you know? And the simple part is because I was the only qualified candidate that applied for the position. And when this was found out by the city and the elected people, again, overpaid Bill Bruton, Nancy Martin, and Jackie Gibbs, they changed the job descriptions. But they did it in a way that violated ordinance. Now, this has been pointed out to the mayor and council. They don't care. It's been pointed out more than twice. Now, what's been interesting is since I've retired, there's been some rule amendments that's opened this back up. And so that's something else we're going to get into detail and that we'll talk about. But for now, let's talk about the 457 plan. The city taking out that chair because it is so hard to put in money, that frustrated me. Now, what really frustrated me is the person that signed this was Bill Bruton. And they fully fund, the city fully funds his 457. He doesn't even have to put a penny in it. So not only is he stealing from us, and the term they use for the people that are listening, theft by conversion. That's the term they use in Georgia. So the behavior is not breach of contract. The behavior is illegal. So I'm going to get into in the future in some videos where I've contacted, let's say, Georgia State Patrol, Cobb County Prosecutor's Office, Cobb County Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department was great. GBI, excuse me, not Georgia State Patrol. Sorry, Georgia State Patrol guys. GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Never called me back. Cobb County Prosecutor's Office called me back, and you could tell they were frustrated that they did, and basically they completely and utterly failed to do their job. I have your name. It'll be in the video, and hopefully your boss will fire your ass when that's over with. Because it is pathetic that you didn't want to do your job. Now, whether you're friends with Bruton, I don't know. He's an attorney, and, you know, they are like thieves running together. So, I'm going to get into more detail. This is kind of the opening about the way people are being treated in the city. Like I said, the retirees and even the people that live around there. So, there'll be videos to follow. I thank you for your time and hope you have a great day. Bye.